Welcome to Behind the Scenes, and today we're going to talk about shooting some abandoned places with Paula here, the drone girl.
Hi, hello.
Hi, Paula. So we just finished the interview, and you were telling me you liked shooting abandoned places.
Very much so.
Because I also like shooting abandoned places and little urban exploration. I figured we would just do a little segment about this and what is it that we've done and what is it that we recommend people to do if their desire is to be shooting abandoned places like old mental hospitals and graveyards and anything like
Factories,
that. So
mills.
Factories, mills. There is a lot of it, especially in New England where we are.
Yep.
There's a lot of it everywhere. I mean. Humans didn't recycle that well.
Yeah, urban
We're
decay.
not good at recycling. We recycle pretty well, but we're not great at recycling.
Some people think I'm so weird that I like it so much.
Really?
I just love the idea of seeing what nature will reclaim if given the opportunity to. And I just love it.
And just the ruin.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just so beautiful to me. And some of my friends are like, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, if you had to pick one, maybe we'll start with that.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite abandoned place so far? Like, do you have one that you keep coming back to because it's just like the most tragic looking?
No. It's because it's like the first one you ever fell in love with, and it's a mill in my town, and I like my friends like, no, it's my mill, and I go back to it, and I like have progress shots as it's like some of the standing walls have started to collapse. Like I can tell you what year that one wall collapsed because I have pictures of the year before because I'm in love with that. That's my mill.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How old is the mill?
1881, I believe, is when it was built, and it burned down in 1995.
Wow.
And some parts of it are,
Okay.
And it was long since abandoned before that, but it burned down in 1995, and some parts of it are still standing, and one of the brick side of one of the buildings that are still standing fell in the last 5 years or something. Because again, I have progress pictures because I always go back. I love that mill.
Yeah.
That's my mill.
Where is this?
In Willimantic.
Willimantic? Okay. Willimantic.
Willimantic,
Connecticut. I gotta go check it out.
Field trip.
Cool. And you were just doing the Norwich Hospital too, right?
Yes.
Which is abandoned. It was like the biggest.
Yes.
That wasn't just an insane asylum.
I guess I was reading somewhere recently that it was, it had originally one of those names like Home for the Imbecile or something like that because they had those insensitive names. And I guess it was also housed people with tuberculosis.
Yeah, throughout the years it's huge. Oh my God, it was like 900 acres. Yeah. So there's some like substance abuse, some mental. That was a lot. I heard there's tunnels underneath there. We shot it last year, 2 years ago with Andy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Place creeps me out. Oh. But the scariest one I was at was we didn't get to fly there because it's too close to LaGuardia in New York.
Oh.
But the place was called North Brother Island.
Yeah, I want to go.
Oh my God. It's a sanatorium was a sanatorium for patients with infectious diseases.
Yeah,
it was a
Typhoid
quarantine
Mary
island.
Was there.
Yeah, they kept her there after she kept like finding jobs in the kitchens. After they were telling her not to, they finally got sick of it and put her on the island. So that's where she died actually eventually.
That's really cool.
It's also a site of the biggest shipwreck in New York City, actually.
Really?
In like late 1800s, there was some steamship that ran into that island and like over 100 people died or close to 200. I don't know why. Yeah. But it's not, I'm not going to say fun fact. It's not a fun fact, but it's an interesting fact. Yeah.
Historical
and
fact.
you can, like this island, you can't really get to that easily. We had to get a boat, and I'm not sure we were welcome there that much, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. So I got to do a bunch of pictures and cinemagraphs instead of doing the drone thing.
Yes, cinematograph. Yeah.
All right, so that was my favorite out of all of them. Just the craziest.
That's probably the one I'm the most jealous that
craziest one. You may get to. We got there.
crossed.
We were shooting something like in Verrazzano Narrows in New York Harbor, like way past New York Harbor.
Okay.
We're following this ship coming in actually. So we had a boat, and on the way back from this shoot,
we've got this boat.
we're like, Captain Jim, can you drop us over here for a couple of hours? And Jim, our captain, who was really friendly, and he didn't mind, so he actually hung on there for like 2 hours while me, Mike, and Brianna were climbing all over the buildings. Yeah, it was cool. I was like, wow, okay, cool. I don't think we should be here, but it doesn't seem like anybody can. Literally like Rikers Island, the jail, is the next island over.
Oh.
It's crazy. It's like the guts of the New York City.
You're making
like
it sound so creepy. Oh.
It's the whole place is it's really it's strange. Not the usual tourist thing in New York City. No. But the beauty of it is an island, so the chances of you running into somebody there, like living there and all that, are very slim. It's a pretty small island. It has a few buildings, but it's not that big. Yeah. All right, cool. So those are our favorite places. So what about some recommendation? I know these wonderful people want to listen to our stories, but I also want to know what
to do
could be helpful when planning for a shoot like this.
One of the things that I definitely discovered over time was that my footwear was sadly inadequate. After a while, my Converse were getting soaked through because it's muddy and dirty some places and kind of yucky. So footwear, definitely having good footwear. I have some nice boots.
Good boots, steel toes maybe.
I don't have steel toe, but definitely something that can handle like muck and mud and wet and not,
so you feel
not be
comfortable.
destroyed. Yeah.
So definitely dress the part for it.
Yes.
I would say I would add to it some longer clothes too, just because a lot of it. I remember in North Brother, the whole place was covered in poison ivy. Thanks God we're not like allergic, but it was amazing. It was ridiculous.
No,
we're there in the
sense.
summer. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Shoes, cool. I would recommend a mask too. Even if you're going inside. I mean, outside with the drone, that's kind of besides the point, but. Any of these places, when we went inside, my sinuses were killing me for like a week after. It's got to be
and there's definitely
like mold and asbestos and God knows. I mean, these people, they still had like frames from the old X-ray machines there in the rooms.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, wow.
I need to go.
You should. Captain Jim, I'll give you his number.
Okay.
He's not that expensive.
Okay.
And he does carry life vests, so
good.
you should be fine. All right. So shoes, mask. What about bringing a friend? Would you go alone to the places like that?
I would not ever go alone. No.
No, or at least if you're gonna go alone, let somebody know where you're going, so they know where to start looking for you.
I would just never. I've never gone alone.
Yeah, no. I have to admit. Yeah, once. This place, it's in New York City actually. It's in Staten Island. It's called the New York Farm Colony. It's a huge place. I don't know how many acres, but big place. And it's up for redevelopment, so it's not going to be there for much longer. It was more, you know what, it wasn't like an insane asylum, but it was a house for people, from poor people that may have had some challenges kind of integrating themselves into the society. And the idea was that they would just live there and farm and, so they have these old, like, skeletons of greenhouses and all the buildings are there and it's crazy.
That is very cool. Didn't you do something in New York that it was like urban archaeology that you went underground and you flew?
Oh yeah. We didn't fly the drone underground, but we flew above the site. Yeah, it was archaeological site in Williamsburg, New York. You remember it, right?
I do,
it was an old brewery. They dug up. They were like digging foundations they demolished the house and they found like these 4 big vaults underneath there. So we didn't fly the drone in the vaults. We got in. But they took it with the regular pictures or just scanned it. We did a 3D model of it from above with the drone because they filled it with concrete and they were gonna build over it so you can go see it.
Oh, cool.
So this is the way they kind of preserved it for the students. So
the history is like my favorite part about every
I was surprised. It was 1860s brewery in Williamsburg, New York, which is now Brooklyn. And you should see, I was just scouting there yesterday and the development, it's totally getting gentrified. There's all these skyscrapers growing, all the way. So, like, the idea of, like, archaeological, found there is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that was a little different. It wasn't abandoned. It was abandoned, but it was underground.
But it was historical and cool.
It was very historical and cool. Yeah. All right, cool. So always bring the friend, or at least tell somebody where you go. See the
I think that's also the difference between I'm a girl. I would definitely bring somebody. I can't really kick anybody's butt. So I would definitely would not go alone. I would not.
So the farm colony, I went alone, and I ran into some people there, but it was mostly like urban explorers. It wasn't like drug addicts or like homeless people. They were like normal people just lurking around.
Yep. I run into both. I
know, but you never know who you can run into. So
right.
It's a good idea to kind of prepare or bring somebody with you. All right. What about a permission? Do you worry about it?
I definitely want to have permission. Definitely.
So as much as you can, just try to talk to somebody, see if you can go in.
If you can, property owners, things like that. And with flying, it's pretty awesome because as long as you're in the appropriate airspace and you're taking off from somewhere that you're allowed to be.
That's public.
Then that is kind of
no one can really say anything anyway. It's the beauty of drone photography is that you can get to these places, or like the islands you can fly over or fly to get to. which you couldn't with a regular camera.
Right.
I actually had it was a graveyard. It's called Hart Island.
Okay.
It's off Bronx, and it's actually the biggest gravesite in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, there's probably like 5 tombstones on the whole thing. There's no stones, no headstones, nothing. So this island it's kind of
like
creepy.
mass graves.
Yeah, big trenches with like boxes in. That's where they bury all the unclaimed bodies from New York City. So if somebody dies in a hospital and they can't trace that person to any relatives or nobody claims the body.
So you've been to the creepy places, or you've flown the creepy places.
They'll put that. So here is what happens if you die in New York City and no one claims you, right? They'll put you in a wooden box and they'll put you on a truck. Put a truck on a ferry that over to an island with a bunch of prisoners and just lay that box in the ditch with the rest of the boxes.
Nice.
No, they don't have prisoners digging. They just have it unloading. They literally like build they dig these big trenches with like a backhoe and then just lay the boxes in there.
So note to self. No dying in New York City.
Or at least have like a little tag that tells everybody where you're from, who your family is. Send me home. This is who I belong to. Mm-hmm. If found dead, please call. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, but that's some place where you can only get with a drone.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the beauty of it. You can fly from places where it's allowed, and as long as you're not, like spying on people or violating someone's privacy. Yeah. Which in this case is not really the case.
They're dead.
You can, yeah. So you can make it easily happen. So beauty of drone photography for abandoned places. You don't really need a permission unless you're planning to go inside.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What about a time of the year?
Oh, I definitely like fall and springtime because things aren't as overgrown. So definitely things like foliage creeps up the buildings, and once it's all like in bloom, I mean, sometimes that's pretty too, but it also makes it hard to see things if you're, climbing around outside of a building. It's tangled up in vines and stuff, but it's a lot easier if there's no growth.
Well, we're in New England, so if there is plenty of something, it's trees. So we have a lot of that. I think that it's a good time to wait for their, not.
You don't want to do it in the summertime. You don't want to do it in the summertime because there's ticks and you don't want to. So I definitely like February and March and October, November. Those are like my favorite.
February, March, October, November. Totally. You can see right through everything. I also like how when the trees are bare, if you catch like lower light, it casts shadows, and the buildings are usually red brick. And
so
you have
a mood.
It adds texture to it. If you're like running across the building front or something. So it's cool. And you're right. Like for us, the problem is that once you abandon place, within a year or two, it turns into jungle. You can really like walk through it. So it's better to pick a times of a year if you have a foliage down. Yeah, it's definitely time to go. All right. Well, how do you find these places?
There's actually quite an urbex community of people that you just kind of can talk to and share places. A lot of times I don't like to share places, and that's fine. But
we just
some
shared
people,
a bunch.
Well, some people will share places. Yep, there's places we didn't share. Yeah. We didn't share all of our secrets.
Well, I share places, but they're like islands and stuff. So go for it if you can get there.
Yeah, no. But that's the other thing too, is that people tend to ruin the fun. People will spray paint and so I think that's another reason that the like urbex community is kind of quiet about what they share, because they don't want their favorite places to get destroyed. And I agree with that.
Yeah, I know. We were supposed to hit the City Hall subway station in New York City, which is like, they don't use that subway station. It was the old portal to the City Hall. But someone vandalized it last year. They just got it back together. So you're right. I mean, sometimes
has to ruin it, apparently.
Someone has to ruin fun. Not that that's like a publicly available place, but we're shooting it hopefully soon. Good.
That's cool.
So where do you find them? Urbex?
No, like I said, there's just like a community of people on.
Is there a website that you go to?
Oh yeah. Opacity is one that I've gotten ideas from.
Opacity.
Yep.
Opacity.com.
I think it is.
You think it is?
Opacity. Yes.
All right.
They beautiful. Whoever that photographer is has amazing. And in that website, he talks about a little bit about the history, and his photography is amazing. It just and he has it like organized, I think even by like state and every place he goes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you want to do a little exploration? That's the way to do it. Opacity.
Yeah.
I like the Atlas Obscura. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Atlas Obscura. Yeah. And that's why I found a lot of these places, actually.
Very
and
cool.
I would recommend that. Cool. Well, if you guys have some abandoned place that you like to, or that you shot, would like to share it with us, just let us know. You can leave us a comment on Facebook, YouTube, blog. There's so many places you can leave us a comment at.
Yeah.
And for this and other segments in the behind the scenes, you can visit our website at dronephotographypodcast.com. Hope this helps. Have fun exploring abandoned places.
Enjoy.
Be careful. Don't go alone.
Don't go alone.
Don't go
Watch
alone.
your step. Make sure you're not falling through something.
Yeah, we don't want to be responsible for
We are
getting
not
anybody.
responsible.
We are not responsible for. Yeah, we should say that we are not
We are not
responsible for
responsible.
anybody getting hurt.
No.
So, if anybody asks, don't tell them you heard it at Drone Photography Podcast. And we'll be back right after this.